Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Glad to have you here again, hanging out with Michael Boyo and some of his friends. It's always a pleasure for me. I'm super excited to be here. It's part of my giving back to the community, 1 hour a week of my time. I can hang out here with whoever to kind of talk about career related topics. So I just want to welcome each and every one of us once again to today's session. Today is 19 October 2024. I can't even imagine that we are already in quarter 4 of this year. It's like I still remember exactly where I was 1st January this year. I was at my niece's wedding somewhere in Mississauga. And now it's October. I don't even know how the days flew by, but that's life, right? We just need to keep walking, like Johnny Walker would say. So thank you once again for joining. Good afternoon, good day, good morning from wherever you are. Can I get thumbs up? I hope I'm audible. It's clear. You can hear me. Just to be sure that I'm not chatting with bots, right? Can I get thumbs up? Thank you. Thank you. Great. Okay, so let's get this started. And I was, I wanted us to start off with, what has been the highlights of our week? Highlights, low lights, whatever you want to call it, whatever in between. Let's start off with that. And Tina was kind of just telling us her experience where she's going to be resuming back to work on Monday and how she had to do a 30-minute interview, even though she's resuming back to the work she had prior. So Tina, do you want to, tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I'm just like, for me, it's just strange. It's a consulting role, but I've been asking people, and they said that it's kind of normal for consultants that if you leave a project, you want to come back, you have to start interviewing all over again. And I'm like, this is looking strange to me. So
So
that's
yeah. So to be honest with you, I'm not able to speak definitively to that because I don't work for a consulting firm. I engage with professionals that work for a consulting firm. So I wouldn't be able to answer that definitively. And I guess perhaps it might be a way for them to see if perhaps you are a good fit for whatever project they have on the go.
I think so.
So,
I think
yeah,
so.
because I guess what you were saying the other time was that the project you were working on previously has been shut down, right?
Yeah, they
So,
no, they change everybody in the project.
okay, they change everybody on that project.
Yeah,
So, which means that most likely they are going to want you to onboard onto a new
new
project.
project. Yeah,
And because of that, it's like it's a new engagement.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, and I think one thing I tend to like about consulting, so way earlier in my career, just to give a little bit of background here, way earlier in my career, I would have done anything to work in a consulting firm, like the Accentures of this world, the KPMGs, the Ernst& and Young, and all of that. But I didn't get to, right? And I moved on with life and I continued working mostly on the client side. But to be honest with you, I can name like 5 or 6 consulting firms, as in Big Four and some other smaller ones, that have had the opportunity of working with their consultants, with their professionals on projects. And so I tend to have an insight into how life is on the consulting side of things. And, to be honest with you, if anybody comes to me right now and say, hey, Mike, if I have 2 job offers, and would you want me to go into consulting or go into non-consulting? I would say go into consulting 150%. The reason why I say that is that consulting offers you a template for you to become a highly efficient professional, someone with very good time management, project management skills, even if it's project coordinator, even things like budgeting. You will learn a lot because the thing is that they're not teaching you something that they have to manufacture right now. They already have all the templates, they have all the resources, they have all the artifacts, they have a full blown repository of projects that they've done in the past that it can is as good as, let's say you are onboarded to Accenture right now and you need to work on a project in South Africa. If a similar project had been worked on somewhere in Venezuela, for example, you can literally go into the archives and your leader should actually point you and say, hey, Mike, we actually worked on a similar project in Venezuela, and all the artifacts of that project will be somewhere in their repository. And you can literally go there, pick those artifacts, and then repurpose them for your demo or your intro or your presentations in South Africa. And that's why I began to ask myself earlier on in my career, why is it that all these consultants, when they say somebody is coming from KPMG and they are doing a presentation, everybody is like, wow. You look at the person like this must be a genius or some kind of a whiz kid, right? And they try to get people young, right? Maybe straight out of school or maybe very early on in your career, and then they train you. They don't need you to come fully baked. And then it was later I was speaking to a few friends who were working in consulting, and they were like, Mike, most of those artifacts, most of the time, they're already there. That because they could call you to a project, and the next 2 days, you are flying out to Dallas to go and make a presentation. And you may not even know everything about that particular subject, whatever the product is. But you would have something somewhere that can literally jumpstart your leapfrog you to be able to give a killer presentation. So in your case, Tina, it could be a situation whereby they want to be sure that whatever they have on the go, that you are a good fit for it. Because as consulting firms, it's all about the bottom line, right? There's no like mincing words, because at the end of the day, we need to pay the bills, right? I'm sure you know about billable hours and all of that. People need to get paid. People need to get paid, and the establishment needs to make profits, right? So that's what my take would be. I don't know whether someone else on the call would want to add something to that. Thank you. Are we here?
Okay, thank you, Mike. That was, but I my own consulting is not like that though. All these templates,
Okay.
because when I joined the project I joined before, they didn't have anything, no artifact. I was the
Okay.
one that
So
was
so
struggling to get no documentation. So
oh,
everything was just like the former place I worked before. We had to like come up with things. There was nothing. It's just that because the people they've been there for years, so maybe that's
so they have
another
the
thing.
knowledge in their head,
They not
but it's not on
yes,
paper.
they call it tribe knowledge because they've been
Wow.
there for years, so they don't need anything. But it's now difficult for somebody that is new into the
Yeah.
project to
Into the
understand
project to
anything because
understand.
they don't have anything. They just like, oh, this is how we do it. This is how, you know, this is, they just know what to do at any particular time. They've been in that project for long. That was one of the
Interesting.
challenges I was having with the project because there was no documentation. But every consulting is different. This one is
That's
not.
true.
I didn't see
Yeah,
that at all.
yeah.
I didn't see that
Yeah,
support.
and it could be maybe because like this one, so what I said was actually someone, a friend who had worked in Accenture shared with me, and I had
Okay.
worked closely with consultants, as in we're sitting next to each other in cubicles in an office. They are working for IBM, and he also confirmed that they have those kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay.
So, but I guess maybe the big ones, right? When
The
we're
big
talking of,
ones,
yeah, the
maybe
big ones,
maybe the
because they've
big
been
ones,
around
yeah.
for a while,
Yeah,
and
maybe
it's
the
just
big
part
ones.
of the way they work, right?
Yeah,
So
maybe
I
the
don't know
big
about,
ones,
yeah,
but
yeah,
these other smaller ones,
yeah.
my friends are even working the same issue that we're having. They tell you no documentation. You go there, you're the one that is starting. That's why most times they want people with experience. So say, as you're coming, you know what to do at every particular time. But when there is no documentation, it could be very difficult. It's okay.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
But it's okay. But don't also forget that somebody has to blaze the trail, right? If
yeah,
it's
yeah.
something absolutely new, then there won't be documentation. Somebody has to do,
No,
even
it's
the
not
one you
new.
want
It's
to.
been done.
Okay,
It's
it's
been
been done.
around since. Yes, it's
Okay,
been. They are almost at the end of the project when I
interesting,
joined them. Yeah.
interesting.
But I,
Anyway,
I
but
understand my.
so how did the interview go?
It went well. It was
Well,
okay. So I was listening. It's just a formal interview, just to know your skills and just normal. So I'm waiting to meet with the client and I pray that I'll be
okay.
given a project immediately.
I hope so too. I hope so
Mm,
too. Thanks so much for
thank
sharing.
you.
Okay then. All right. Anyone else? How was your week? Any highlights that you might want to share with us before I share one or two things that I have to share? Just to be sure, Sophia, are you who I think you are? You're on mute, just in case you are saying anything. Okay, let me. Judith, where is Judith calling from? Thank you for joining, by the way. Hello, Judith. You're on mute. Hello. Okay, Judith is on mute as well. Juliet, are you able to say anything? Good day, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
My week, oh God. My week was intense. Intense
Oh
in the
my
two
goodness.
side of my extreme. In
Wow.
one extreme, I was like deep into being an HRO specialist and
HR
ensuring,
specialist. Wow. Okay.
yes, and ensuring that the maybe when a report says my manager is being biased, and you could see that the manager is biased, like that subconscious biasness, like it looked like racism, and the manager is not seeing it, and I need to wear down my heart and be that boss and say it directly,
Mm,
while I am trying as much as possible to be nice and professional. It wasn't easy. So sometimes now I'm beginning to appreciate those HRO people, because man, it was not an easy conversation. So it's going to continue because it hit a wall last week. It's going to continue. And the other extreme end of my life, my career life,
mm.
I was I was deep into Salesforce flow, frustrating my
Okay.
life.
Salesforce Flow. So Salesforce Flow is some sort of automation within the Salesforce platform. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was deep into that, but it was fun at the end of the day, having to get resolution. And then, so it means that this week that just ended, I work a lot of overtime.
Over time. Yeah. Just to
Yeah,
get that job done, right?
yeah, just to get things done. But it's fulfilling now, because I look back some of the challenges that oh, this thing is broken in Salesforce, Juliet, everybody is shouting. And
Mm,
then Pram just went in, do their back end dirty work and explained it. So one of the things I'm realizing now is, as much as you're technical, communications is very important. So I'm really into learning how to be an effective communicator, and it's paying off. I've been doing some leadership training on communications. It's paying off so far. But yeah, it was intense, but I feel fulfilled now that, as intense as it was, I was able to achieve at least 80% from both ends of my world. You understand the two extreme ends. So yeah,
mm.
that's it.
Interesting. Interesting. No, thank you so much for sharing. And I think we can all um, relate with that. When it comes to the demands of work, and especially in these days where I'm beginning to see a lot of employers demanding for more. So let me ask this question: would people agree that in recent times, employer is actually asking for more, as in whatever shape or form? You are hired for a role, and then you are doing that role, and then you realize that the employer is expecting you to actually do something not completely different, but something that is just a little bit of a deviation from what you were hired to do. And they just expect that you should be, one, you should know how to do it. Two, you should be able to do it, and it should fit into your normal day-to-day work. Is somebody else experiencing that?
Ah, welcome to non-profit world. That is, you
Interesting.
just describe non-profit without calling it. You must you must be
But you
able to
guys,
get.
you guys are not doing it for profit now. When I hear non-profit, like you're all volunteer.
No, it's true. We're not doing it for profit, but the painful part is sometimes you wear multiple hats. Like you are IT, you are HRO, you are Salesforce, you are this, you are that. All of those things ordinarily should be separated, but you are right. Employers are beginning to ask for more. And stylishly, I'm pushing back. Sometimes I'm a BA, I'm an admin, then they want me to be a developer. I'm like, no, mm-mm. There's a limit to what I will do. Even if I know the developing work, like recently they said they want to do experience cloud at work. I told them you will hire somebody who is specialized. Oh, Julie, but you are certified. Yes, I am, but not for you people. Don't,
Mm.
because at the end of the day, if I do it, they will see
Yeah,
that's,
they would.
oh,
Yeah.
we have extras. They won't, if they even increase your pay, it won't be more than 2K. That is the annoying part.
So
But if you
so
go
now,
outside with that experience that you have, you'll be able to get additional 20K.
so
So
you have hit a nerve, Juliet, and I'm really glad we got there. Right, you have hit a very very strong nerve that I'm always talking to my mentees about, and I'm going to point it out exactly where you are right now. As in, so you want to sell yourself in your current establishment. If they are going to give you extra, you are saying 2K. So let's put it in perspective. Let's say today you're on a full-time employment and your salary is 100K per annum. Now, anybody that wants to poke hole into whatever I'm saying, just let me finish and feel free to poke hole. Most organizations in Canada, I don't know about US, they always have a yearly performance review cycle. And in that yearly performance review cycle, they have your performance review rating, which will be tantamount to how much upward review your salary would get. And usually is between 0 to 3 or 4% max, especially if you are just, entry, intermediate level, even manager. If you are not like C-suite, director, VP, and up all the way up. So between 0 to 4%. And I usually give this example, which makes it very easy. So 100K, right? And let me hear people. I want us to engage. So 3% of 100K is how much? Can I get somebody to answer me, please? 3% of 100K is how much? Hello? Hello?
3,000.
3,000,
3,000.
3,000.
Good. Now, 3,000. Most of us that work in Canada, right? We are being paid every 2 weeks. That's a pay period. So first of all, let's do divide by 12. 3,000 divided by 12. What is it? I know what it is, but I want you to tell me. 3,000 divided by 12. How much is that? Okay, it's 250. Okay, 250 times 10 is 2,500 plus another 2 of 250, 500. That's 3K. 3K divided by 12 is 250. Now, that's monthly. Now, let's divide by 2 because everybody is paid every 2 weeks, right? By weekly pay period. 250 divided by 2, how much is that? Don't tell me you don't know, right? That's 125. So $125 before tax. Don't forget, we are still working on gross. Now, if you're earning 100K, you are literally around 27, 28% tax bracket here in Canada. So let's keep it simple, 25%. Take 25% away from your 125, you are down to about $95. So at best, at 3% upward review of your salary, you are earning 100K. Now you tell me how many people are earning 100K here in Canada today? It's not a question. That's a rhetorical statement. So $95 net at best, right? Now, I then tell my mentees that, listen, when you have a job and you are good at what you are doing, except if it's a family business that your parents have the legal rights to the ownership of that business, and they've said that they are going to will it to you, you have no business being absolutely loyal to that organization. It doesn't belong to you. It's just a job. You are in there to offer service for which you get paid for. I'm not saying don't be committed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't be diligent. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you have no lifetime commitment to remain there. Now, if you were to say, oh, I'm looking for work, especially when you have work, The best time to be looking for work is when you have work, not when you don't have work. I know life happens. So, but we are talking ideal situation here. Now, if truly you were earning 100K, would you really go and take a job that will pay you 103,000? Like, can I get a response? If today you are earning 100K and somebody says, oh, I'm offering you another job, which is going to pay 103,000, would you take that job? Hello? Hello, can I get a response, please? Will you take that job? Exactly, right, Abimbola? Thank you. So, there's no way you'll be going from a 100K job. You are applying for jobs that you feel you're a very good fit for. At the very least, that job should be paying you, even worst case scenario, 105. Ideally, 110. And that's why I tell people that you will get way more by jumping from one job to the other than hoping and praying that you will get more in your current job, regardless where you are. Except if you hit maybe some kind of bonus, whatever. And bonus is not part of your salary, it's extra. And it's taxed differently, anyways. Right? So at the end of the day, I do tell people, I'm not saying jump from one job to the other. If you have one and you are doing well at it, I'm only saying that at least every 6 months, explore the market, because the other employer would need to entice you with something more to get you to come over. Now, the people who say, oh, Mike, it's people say it's greener on the other side. Until you get to the other side, that's when you know what shade of green. I get it, right? I get it. It could be a wrong move, but we can't always plan out every possible scenario, right? So we are looking at the happy path here. And all I'm saying is that at least when you have one, learn and absorb as much as you can on the one that you have while you're exploring the market. Because the best way for you to actually get a tangible upward review in your remuneration is when you are able to sell your skills to the other employer. Now, let me stop talking and let me get some feedback on what I've said. And like I said, feel free to poke holes into anything that I might have said. Thank you. Hello? Yeah, please go ahead, Tina.
Yeah, I wanna kind of agree with you, and I think there's really no perfect situation because for me, if you just join an organization, I believe the first 6 months, that's when you're learning. That's the For me, I think that's the toughest time for you. That first 6 months because you're trying to learn the organization, know your stakeholder. That's when your work, you don't even understand it. And after 6 months, somehow you are relaxed because now it's somehow like autopilot, you know what to do. And that 6 months, I'm leaving. I have a friend that did that. She left within like in 1 year. She changed like three organizations. Of course, she was getting like 100. I mean, 10,000 rise. The other one 10,000. And she went on leave and she was laid off because it was easy for them to just lay her off. She has not stayed with them. So while we are changing organization, I just want to like just think about it. I'm not saying you should not, but just changing, like I've seen some people like 6 months, 3 months, they just change. They said they got another organization that is ready to increase it by 20,000. I'm like, or is it only me that the first 6 months is always hard for? So I can't imagine the first 6 months after I've navigated it, I'm supposed to be relaxed a little. Then I move to another organization and start pursuing the probationary period and all of that. I quite understand what you're doing, but in the process of moving from one organization to another, we should also be careful and we should stay in an organization a while. And for me, mental health, maybe because now I've seen a very toxic organization. in Canada. I don't think I've really been fortunate with organizations. And I'm like, for me, it's a good organization is that aligns with you, where the people are willing to work with you is very important. If you get to a toxic organization, I tell you, I used to believe that I'm strong. Niger, I worked in Zenith Bank as a marketer now. You know the way it is. I've seen it all. When it comes to abuse, toxicity, I think I've seen it
Mhm.
all. But forget it. When I came to Canada, I just witnessed one. I'm like, what is this? Is it that am I now a Canadian that can't my tough skin has it gone or what? So we should just be careful. What I'm looking for now is an organization that will give me peace. Even if the money is not, because if you earn good money and the people there are not, they don't want to work with you, you're going to be frustrated. You won't be able to sleep. So, in as much as we're looking at jumping from one organization to another, because in the end, if you are leaving for 20,000 difference, $30,000, in the end, by the time they take tax, everything, by weekly, the difference might not be more than $100, and you take yourself, this is what my taking my sleep. So, in as much as I encourage you, but let's be strategic in doing that. Not we have this 3 months. I'm seeing another organization that is ready to increase by 20. I'm going. I've seen it people that did that, and most times they always shoot themselves in the foot. I just want to bring that to our notice. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely on point, Tina. And I'm really glad that you balanced what you said perfectly balances what I said. And I guess um, maybe in me saying what I said, I didn't contextualize properly. So I'm really glad you said what you said because I agree with what you said. And I guess my assumption in what I said is that I don't and I think I mentioned that if you are good at what you do, so I'm not expecting somebody that joined a place in 3 months just because you found something better that you're not even like you've not even learned something, right? And you just feel, oh, let me go. That's one side. And then you talked about mental health. That's another point, right? And if a work environment is toxic, you shouldn't even be there, right? I get all that. So no, I just want to say thank you for the balancing stroke. For me, I was talking from a place of like an experienced person, your onions, and you just feel like, you know what, I've been here for like 2 years, you know, my salary has barely increased. So I have a friend who has worked in government establishment here in Canada and said because he got to the highest echelon of his band, there's always a salary band. He said he remained, if not that he told me himself and is a close friend, he said he was on the same salary for 9 years. Think about that for a minute. And I'm like, are you?
For
And he
that
said,
man, peace
yes.
of mind. Peace
No,
of
no,
mind
I
is
agree. No, I
important.
agree.
Oh.
So, no, no, I
It's
agree. I'm not,
important. Oh.
no, yeah, no, I agree, Tina. I agree. But I'm just saying that, again, is the if statement, right? I'm not telling anybody to jump, but what I'm saying is that people come to me and say, 3 years, they've not increased my salary. 4 years, they've not increased. And you are saying you are praying to God. And I'm like, so what are you expecting? It's not your father's business, right? So you can't just go and demand for a salary increase, even if you do and they don't give you. So I'm coming from that perspective. I'm not telling anybody, instructing anybody to. But when people come to me and they are like, "Oh, I've been in this organization for 3 years, they barely increased my salary," and the person, him or herself, is agitated. Don't forget, it's not as if I go around and tell everybody, no, no, no. The person came to me, and I'm like, "So what are you expecting? Even if they are going to increase your salary, it's not going to be more than 3%." And I'm like, if truly you know your worth, you know your value, and you think you deserve more money, that's the advice I'm giving. Then you have to look outside that organization. I hope that clarifies what I was saying. And once again, thank you, Tina. Do you want to take Philip now? I don't know, Tina, is that an old or a new hand? I'm not sure.
Hold,
I think
hold,
it's
hold.
old.
Let
Okay,
me.
thank you. All right. Philip, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Tina, and thank you, Michael. I think Tina is spot on. Um, we all come with there are different factors that will make you want to change your job. Maybe you need the cash. Maybe probably you are still single. Maybe you just feel that okay, I'm not experienced for the job. You want to change the job. Probably that increase. I think Tina was spot on the fact that when you check the whatever figure they want to give to you, trust me, the range is within $50 to $500. But on the surface, you will see it in hundreds of thousands. Like wow, maybe from if you can do the calculation from 100,000 or $90,000, and then move your money to one and say 30,000, maybe it may not be that huge. Maybe 300, 200 per week. That's the major thing. Then the second part is that mental side of it. I think the happiness of you waking up, you want to go to work. Do you know that feeling? You want to go to work and like, am I going to face this guy again? So people go to work with fear, and that fear cannot even make you improve or grow. So when you are not growing, definitely you are not learning anything. So for me, I've seen a toxic environment, maybe mostly in Nigerian space, where people will talk to you rudely and people will be confrontational. I've worked in Canada. I've seen my colleague. He's a white guy. Like the way they'll corner him, talk to him privately, or somebody talk to him rudely, and I get the feedback from him giving me. Sometimes it's embarrassing or shocking. So is it because of the money? So sometimes I've seen people go back to their old organization. A case is someone I know very well who got a good offer. I left. I went to Calgary from BC yet. When I went to Calgary, it didn't last 6 months. He was the one that even resigned. Called them in the office that, oh, please, I'm sorry. And he came back to that organization. That comfort cannot be purchased with $200, $300. Especially when, so sometimes you are single, you live there your single life, you can move from one place. But maybe you want that time for your kids, maybe you want that time for your maybe family or your wife, whatever. Your priority change. So I think most times we should think about ourselves before the money. Money, yes, is good. Don't get me wrong. But you want to be sure that at a point in your life, you now discover that should I chase that money? But even though you want to chase that money, how big is the money? And this are this, that your peace of mind. But if you're in a territory that you are good, trust me, you stay there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 15 years. I've seen people I work in NGO with that they work there 12 years, going 15 years, 20 years. It's not because they pay them big, no, but that freedom, that time, that space is something I feel most times we wait. Now, like I said in summary, for me, I'll wait, maybe I'll check my family. Does this work? Will it favor me? Will it not favor me? Sometimes I won't choose money first. That's my own opinion. I'll choose something that I can grow, I can relate, they can understand. When I complain at work that I'm having a headache, they can say, oh, Philip, take one day off. Then some people will now say, are you done with your work? They don't care. So I want that kind of environment where I have peace of mind. That's my own opinion. Yeah. Thanks.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting for someone who is a consultant by day, right? When you are charging by the hour and you have billable hours. Interesting perspective, Philip, especially coming from someone like you. Yeah, I get it. So let me allow anyone else who has something to add. But I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing. But it looks like I'm the only one that likes money, right? So yeah,
You,
work-life balance is priority,
Mr.
right?
Oga Mike,
Uh,
what we are saying, okay, yeah, what I
So
am saying, like, if you have like a serious leap, like somebody that maybe you are like account officer, a financial advisor, and you jump into IT, like from 50 to 100, of course, that one is what it now. Even if there is toxic, you are learning. You can even be staying there for learning. But you that you are in a place, I've seen it. I see it happens a lot, especially among Nigerians. You see somebody leaving for 10,000, and we're like, you've been with these people barely 6 months, and you like it. You're learning. They say, yeah, I did not come here to Cambridge.
mm,
They go there and they start. Even the money is nothing to them again.
mm.
So I think that's
Okay.
what
No, that
myself
makes
and
sense,
Philly,
Tina.
that's what we are
Yeah.
trying to say.
No,
We are
and
not saying that we all want money, but this one that you just go and jump again,
yeah,
you jump.
yeah.
Trust me, it's something that I've been in a place that you dread going to work, even though it's remote. You dread.
Yeah,
switching on your
logging on in the
computer in the
morning.
morning
Yeah, because they're
because
going
you
to be
don't
working
know
with the
the
same
one you
people,
know.
right? Yeah.
Philip was saying that you will not go. The one you even know will disappear from your mind, from your head. You'll be
Mm.
facilitating meeting. You don't know what to say because you are afraid. You know what they are trying to do to you. It's not a good one. Anyone
Okay.
should
So,
experience.
and 1 minute, Juliet. So, if I hear what you folks are saying, is that you don't just money should not be the only factor for jumping ship, right? And I think I can understand that. And again, perhaps I said maybe my bad that when I spoke, I didn't contextualize. I was speaking from when people come to me and say, "Oh, Oga Mike, you know, I'm just fed up. These people don't even value me. I've been on the same pay for the past 2, 3 years." And I'm like, "So what have you been doing? What have you learned in that period of time? Have you actually acquired new skills? The skills you are learning on that job, are they transferable to another job?" Right? So again, don't forget, I'm not talking about people that have spent 15, 20 years in their career. I'm talking about people that are in their early intermediate stage, like between, let's say, 3 to 5, 7 years. So they still have good time in their career, right? And I'm saying that, first of all, you need to do a value assessment. Can you even get a higher paying job? So let's even forget about the money. But even you, so somebody came to me some time ago and said, "Mike, I feel like I deserve to be paid more." So I'm sorry, Julia, just give me a minute here, please. That I feel like I deserve. I now say, "Okay, what's your role?" She told me her role in her job place. And I said, give me a synopsis what you do on a day-to-day basis without going into so many details. I said, "Okay, I'm going to book you for free. Let's have 1 hour. I'll give you 1 hour of my time and I'll do an assessment of your current job." And we were on a call. And I said, "Okay, show me the projects." I said, "Bring your resume. Let me see everything that you are doing." And at the end of the day, we both agreed that she was actually being being paid something that was even a little bit above market value, right? And I now said, "I hope you can understand that if you go out there, I don't even think somebody will pay you more. That I feel like you should stay here, learn more, acquire more skills, and then before you can even start saying that, oh, I deserve to get paid more." So it's not every time I'm telling everybody, "Oh, jump, go and get more money." But at the same time, I'm also learning here from you folks that it's not just about money. And I agree with you completely. Thank you. Juliet, please go ahead.
I want to go back to the fact that I kind of break a nerve here and started this conversation. So, as much as I agree very well with Tina having experienced toxic environment in previous workplace and in Canada and even in Finland, and agree with Philip, I always say that I don't negotiate salary, I negotiate my time. I want flexibility. And that being said, as much as we are wanting not to be in a toxic environment, we should also, and we are bringing value, we should also be able to put boundaries. Right now, I have put in my own home office my job descriptions. So that when you come in and say, "Julia, come and do this," I go back to my job description, my contract with you. It was this part of it initially. Okay, we need somebody for this. Juliet cannot continue doing this. If it's a one-time thing that, okay, we have a project and because we didn't plan, we didn't envisage it, I can say I would like, I can support, but I don't want to be the only one doing it. That is how I do it now. I communicate that I can't be the only one doing this. Like recently, we were saying, "Oh, we don't have a BA. We need to document. We need to create user story and all of that." So my boss was like, "Juliet, as the admin," I said, "So after admin does that, admin will still go and do the implement the technical thing of it." He said, "That's right." I'm like, "So it should be everybody contributing to user story. Even my boss is contributing. She's doing user, she's doing discovery session. I can't be the only one. She's taking notes, she's doing all of that. What I'm trying to say in essence is, if you are remaining in the place where you are and growing and learning, and you see that that place is comfortable, be careful that they don't overuse you. Agree that you want to learn. I learned a lot from the beginning of this year. I was overworked. By August, I was tired. It's as if the year should just end. I am exhausted. I got to a place where I'm like, I don't have enough capacity to carry on more on my plate. And it was affecting the work that I should be doing normally. I wasn't delivering because I was already overworked. So what I did, I started setting boundaries. I Every issue they want to involve me, fundraising, marketing, everywhere they want. No, so I started setting boundary. No, this is not. No, this is not. And I think when you are in a job, the longer you are there, because you know the history, the context, people will want to come to you. Be careful not to be overworked. Some days I realize that the whole day I'm in meetings or different type of meetings, and at the end of the day, I can't even do one thing. But I was hired as sysadmin, right? So at the end of the day, I started blocking my calendar. You can't Don't call me for meeting. I am doing this. I have to go to back end to work. So if you have given me a ticket on Jira and said this is it, this is when you want it. What I do now is I block my calendar for those tickets that you can't just book me for meeting or drag me into all manner of meeting, and I'll be like, why am I even here in the first place? So I think what I'm trying to say is, while you are in that job, you are comfortable. My job is, by the grace of God, they make life easy for me. I want to go and celebrate my child's birthday, off and go and block my calendar. I want to do, so long you are delivering, they are seeing it, you are productive. But because they see how good you are at the end of the day, they might want to add more things to you, or just tell you, come and assist us in this. Or basically you say, like I told them about what it means to relate with indigenous people. It is not part of my project. The next thing I saw, indigenous discovery discussion, they invited me, optional. I declined. You have indigenous specialists, don't invite me. Yes, I have knowledge, I read, I meet with people, but that is not my specialty based on this job. And the thing with me is, because I wear multiple hats, I learn so many things. I can easily enter into a role, and you would think that I've been doing that role for life. So I am now being careful that, if you hire me as sysadmin for Salesforce, let me be sysadmin. Let me not be a fundraiser. Let me not be a marketer, campaigning. Let me not be an indigenous relationship person. No, I won't be doing that. So what I'm saying is, even though you are not looking for the money, be careful that they don't overuse you, overwork you. Create that boundary. Yes, you want to grow, you want to know things. You can know it without overworking yourself within the organization. That was what I was trying to raise initially. And it's always true. I don't, if I want to go out, I always, right now in my career stage, the way I do things now is not just going out looking for just job, but looking at organizations or places where their culture, their everything, I investigate before I step or launch into that part. So I just wanted to say that we should be careful and be able to create balance and boundary. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, Juliet, for actually, like, you know, breaking things down. And I can't agree more with what you've said. It's absolutely on point. No, thank you. Okay. Um, Anyone else who wants to contribute? John, I see you. How is Malaga today?
Very
Okay.
well. I'm also learning with the conversation.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's fine. Anyone wants to contribute? At least, especially those of us that have been there from the beginning of the conversation. Oyeyemi, how are you? Thanks for joining us today. It's been a while. You're on mute if you're talking. Okay. All right. So now, so I think from here, what I see is that first and foremost, we need to evaluate where we are at, right? Regardless of what job we are doing. And from what I've heard, it feels like we need to, take cognizance of the great things that we have or that we have going where we are currently. It's not all about money. Money can be a factor, but shouldn't be the only factor. People talked about work-life balance. People talked about, the kind of colleagues you are working with. Is it a toxic environment? Is it an environment that values you, that appreciates you? Like Philip said, are you afraid to go to work or do you enjoy going to work? That, those are other salient factors that should determine whether you want to jump or whether you want to, thank you, Yemi, or whether you want to stay. And I appreciate all of that perspectives. Now, very closely related to that would be the perspective of when we're talking last week, we're talking about, are there even jobs out there? So, which is why I hear you, Juliet, when you say that, you are looking at those jobs, you are looking at the culture of the organization, you are not just looking at the compensation. So, you are looking at a job as a complete package. And that's exactly what we all should do. There are even things happening now that certain jobs are not even, if I use the word real, like you get onto a job and you just figure out in another 1 month, everybody just walks away. And you're like, what kind of an organization is this? So again, we also need to do our due diligence, even when we're, aspiring or, working towards getting another job as much as we can. Do you have anybody who has worked for that organization or currently working for that organization so that you even have some sort of inside scoop? Or you go and, do your own due diligence online to see whether the organization, and all of that. So I agree with all of that. And that should be things that we should be doing. Philip, please.
Yeah, just to write on what you said. I have looked at organization and I where there are job vacancies and I see people work there. One thing I've checked and 90% of it is right. So you call somebody who works in that organization. Before you call the person, I try to go to is it Glassdoor or Indeed
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
check the review.
Yeah.
90% of that review are right. You see people write comments, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most time people are coming, maybe you feel all of them can be like that aggressive. So when I check and you call somebody organization, the person will give me similar feedback. And I discovered that there is an organization that I know of, and most of us know of. They are constantly employing. They are not expanding. They are constantly employing. Do you know
Mm.
what happened? They lay off, right? And the same set. They are trying to either lay off or toxic people walk away. The rating is bad. Same. I've actually worked in an organization that I never made the review, but I went back to check that what is the review of this organization, and I discovered that yeah, they're over 4 point something. Why? Because they treat their staff well. They won't pay you fantastic, but trust me, I see people come back Monday morning and just drop not for official email, no, chat, and just say, "Oh, I'm not feeling fine today, and I won't be available. If you have anything, just chat me up." Nobody will complain. But the organization is going smoothly. And at the right time, people do things and they invite people if you want to have a program, if Ottawa, if you want to have outside. That's how I see that organization. And they are rated well. So I'm trying to just say, backing from what you've said or just supporting what you've said. Our due diligence will start from the fact of the online side of things. Yeah, it's beautiful to also follow. But sometimes I think I've rejected work that pay me more because the review was really bad. And I'm asking myself, do I really want this? So I agree with you. Review is also important.
No, thank you very much, Philip. Appreciate you. Okay. Anyone with any other question, any other comments? And yeah, let me, as we start wrapping up today's session, anyone? Okay. I want to believe that everyone on this call is in the WhatsApp group. If you are not in the WhatsApp group, I can put something in the chat right now that would, as far as I know, I want to believe everyone. So I think let me just do a quick, okay. If you are not in the WhatsApp group, can you raise up your hand, please? Or maybe I don't, it's not, I'm not calling you out. So it's just because we are not a lot here. So, but I can drop something in the chat right now just to get you into the community so that you'll be able to join the WhatsApp group. So I'm going to just throw something in the chat right now. Okay, thank you, Oyeyemi. So you can click that link and then it should take you to join the WhatsApp group. Okay. It's just that I don't want people joining the WhatsApp group directly without joining our online community. That's all. Just again to know exactly, who is in, who is not in. Just a way of maintaining the safety of the group. Now, having said that, feel free to engage in the group. Like I said, I'm here. I have friends here. There are seasoned professionals here that can continue to contribute to the growth of the community. And, I'm more than happy for people to connect with me. And, more importantly, if you are looking for help, in your own career, also, do not hesitate to connect with me. And, if I'm not the best person to help you, hopefully I can point you in the right direction. That's one of the core reasons why we're here. And I want a situation whereby people would see this as a very safe space to contribute. And I really appreciate, even already what we are doing, because, nobody is forcing anybody to talk about what's going on in their life. So I really do appreciate that. And I hope that we can keep that culture in here and we're all learning together. So this is not like a teacher-student relationship. No, we're all collaborators. Maybe when we meet sometime very soon again, the conversation we started last week about, coming into tech and all of that, what do you come into? I had a very short slide deck that I wanted to show to just talk about, what are the trends even within tech. Maybe when next we meet, I would bring that up. It's just about 3 slides, just to kind of give us, an insight into when we are talking about tech, which areas are actually areas that are hot, if that's something that interests you or any other person that you may know. So that will be something maybe for next time we meet. And feel free to drop, topics in the group as well. Topics in the group so that would form. I don't want to be the one coming out here to just kind of throw something at you. If there's something that you would want us to actually discuss, want us to actually, collaborate on, please let us know in the chat, and we can always bring that here when we meet on Saturday. With that said, any last takers, comments, contribution, question before we call it a day? Yeah, AI is the future. Yes, somebody will say AI is here, right? Yeah, I guess that future is now, right? Any other comment? Thank you, Philip. Yeah, we should think of it as future disco. Oh, okay. All right. I agree with you. Thank you. Okay. All right, then. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoy the remainder of your weekend. And I do appreciate you taking the time to join me and my friends today. Have a great rest of the weekend. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.